welcome back to another episode of the Dream is Real podcast, where we talk real estate, money, and creating the lifestyle you deserve. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. I'm your host, Kim, and today we're going to talk about something that is very important to every homeowner and future homeowners, your kitchen and bathroom. These spaces don't just set the tone for how you live in your home, they also play a huge role in the property value. I'm excited to have with me today Gaetano from LMG Kitchens and Baths. He and his team have been transforming homes across Long Island with stunning designs and high-quality craftsmanship. Today, we're going to talk about the trends in the renovation process and what homeowners should know before jumping into their next project. Gaetano, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello.
Great. Glad you were able to make it.
My pleasure.
All right. So let's start with your story.
Okay.
How did you get into the kitchen and bathroom industry?
Well, construction's always been a big part of my life. I started working for a contractor when I was 15 years old, doing build-outs during summer, and even after high school continued with that.
Wow.
And I originally thought I wanted to go into architecture. Okay. So I went to NYIT with hopes to have my own firm, but my first year of college, I actually started working for an architect. And within the first few years, to be quite honest, I started to lose some of the passion. I loved the work, but I didn't love the business end of it. Just the logistics and all of the boards in the towns and the continuing education. There were so many aspects of it that just kind of made me lose that fire. So for a while, I searched what that sweet spot was where I can still kind of continue working in construction. And kitchens kind of made, I need a minute for this one. What drew me to kitchens is it was the best recipe for combining construction and my love for cooking. Okay. I love to be in a kitchen. I love to cook. I love construction. Nice. So it just made all the sense in the world. And I had some friends and people that were in the business and in the industry, so I slowly started to kind of get a taste for it. And in 2014, I started looking for a space and decided to open up a showroom. And in 2015, we found our Deer Park location.
Wow, nice. And that's how LMG came to life.
That's how it came to be, yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay, so for people who are not familiar with your work, what makes LMG unique compared to other remodelers?
Really, the only place that a kitchen and bath dealer can shine is in the service that they provide. And I know that's a very general statement, but more specifically, it's the time that you invest in a project. Yep. Too often, even when I go and shop around, everyone's looking to make a quick sale and just kind of keep it moving. And you always fall short with that approach. So really what sets us apart is the amount of time that we invest with a customer, the questions we ask. We take the time to understand their lifestyle, how many people live in the home, how often they cook, how often they entertain, and really put together a plan that suits their needs. Not just something that allows the professional to showcase a certain element or a certain aspect or a trendy material. It's really just providing something that works perfectly for that specific user. And that's really the key. Because at the end of the day, we're all selling the same thing. Yep. There's really not much of an opportunity to stand out. So I think that offering and asking those questions, investing that time is what makes all the difference.
Okay, great. Okay, so kitchens and baths are such a key part in the home.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What trends are you seeing the most from homeowners right now?
The recent trends, and I'm happy to see, we're getting away from a lot of the paints. The grays, blues, and greens have been popular for the last couple of years.
Yes, they have.
But recently we've seen a big shift into the lighter stains, the lighter colors. And personally, I love white rift cut oak, like a light beige stain. Okay. We've been seeing a lot of that. Also shifting from the bright white cabinets more to like a softer dove white that complements the wood tones a little bit better. And the other shift has been in countertops. For years, quartz dominated. Yes. If I'd sell 100 kitchens, 95 were quartz. There really wasn't many people exploring granite or any other materials. Recently, because of this shift with the stains, because of the shift in the natural tones, I see more and more customers exploring the natural materials more so than ever before. So I'm happy to see that little shift.
So are people moving more towards like modern sleek looks or more classic designs?
I still think it's kind of in between, kind of like a transitional design. You know, when we first opened in Deer Park, and you can even tell by our two front displays, they're very traditional. They're very ornate. You know, the cherry wood, the large corbels, those things are not yet back. But
Right.
we're getting away from the shaker in the sense where rather than having a simple flat panel, we're introducing little trim within the center panel. So still keeping it kind of sleek and modern, not really doing anything too ornate or too, old school, for lack of a better word. But we're still sticking with the flat panel designs. They're still very, very popular.
Okay, yeah. I did my kitchen a couple of years back, maybe about 10 years ago,
Okay.
if not longer. And we went with the cherry red, the cherry wood.
Excellent.
And my husband nowadays, he's like, oh, let's change and let's remodel. I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with the kitchen yet. Let's leave
No,
it.
I mean, look, you
I'm like, I don't
should.
even know what color I would want to go with and
And it's
how
like-
I
it's a
want to
difficult
change it. I'm
process,
like,
too.
it's like still today when people come by, they look at the kitchen, they're like, this looks like it's like ship along in a magazine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm gonna leave my kitchen alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna come back. It's gonna eventually come back.
It certainly will. And look, but I mean, the bigger picture, people shouldn't worry about what's trending. You know, too often I see customers get so caught up in the trend and treat it as if doing anything different would be a mistake. You know, and I often tell them not doing what you love is the mistake. You know, there are so many components that when you're going through the process seem so important and so relevant. The only thing that matters is, you know, I say to my customers, picture yourself in a year and a half. It's 10 o'clock at night, you're sitting on your couch with a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, whatever your thing is, and you're looking at your kitchen.
Yes.
You gotta love it.
Yes.
So regardless if pink is popular today or green or blue, it's irrelevant. You know, you should look at what's trending, pull what you love, and if you're not really feeling it, just move on and don't think it's a mistake not to do those things.
Definitely.
So good for you for, you know, kind of staying true to what you love and
staying true to it
still
right
being
now.
happy with what you
It
invested so
still
much time
works
and money
right now,
into.
So I'm staying true to it right now. All right. So can you walk us through the remodeling process with LMG, like from consultation all the way to the finished project?
Absolutely. So the first meeting typically happens in the office. And the reason being is, you know, I would love to do business with everyone. But the truth is there are some projects that we may not be a good fit for. So I think it's super important for both the professional and the consumer to see if we're a right fit for each other. So the first thing is to just sit and chat for maybe like a 20 or 30 minute meeting. Kind of get a sense of what products you're looking for, timeline, budget, which is often very difficult to get the answer to that question. And rightfully so, because if you're not in the industry, you have no idea of knowing, you know, what things may cost. But once we kind of go through that process, we start to go through our offerings and try and determine what line can best meet your needs, whether it be a certain color, a certain finish, or even just budgetary concerns. If all of that adds up and, you know, we're going in the right direction, then we'll go ahead and schedule a site visit. A site visit is either myself or someone on our team. We'll go to site. We'll document existing conditions. We'll document existing dimensions. We'll also kind of do a walkthrough of the adjacent spaces in the kitchen to kind of, you know, because we're in a very open concept world today. So really seeing how the rest of your home is laid out and materials and kind of your design language, I think is also a big part. From there, we'll go back to the office. We'll generate anywhere from 1 or 2 designs, depending on the, you know, the project. And then we'll call the customer in to review. And that's when we start picking it apart. And that's one of my favorite times because I often tell people, please be brutally honest. If you hate something, tell me. You love it, tell me. Because at the end of the day, the only important part is to deliver on what the customer's looking for.
Right.
Everything else is secondary.
You don't want to get halfway into it and have to change something up because they're like, oh, that doesn't work for me. Let's do something different.
Correct. You know, and too often what I found early on is when we don't invest a lot of time initially, when we don't take that 20, 30-minute conversation, when we don't explore that other layout, it actually becomes very difficult for the customer to make decisions because they don't feel like they've gone full circle in kind of reviewing what's out there.
Right.
So, you know, there's times my first meeting, you know, could be 2 to 3 hours. And I know it sounds crazy, but that 2 or 3 hour meeting avoids 3 other appointments in the future. So investing that time, really makes for a much, much smoother process.
Okay, so in regards to some of those common challenges that homeowners face during the renovations, how do you help them through that?
Look, the truth is, renovating your kitchen is very hard.
Yeah.
It truly is, because it's very difficult to be without a kitchen sink. You know, I've gotten pictures from customers, you know, washing chicken cutlets in a vanity sink, as crazy as that sounds. You know, so in that aspect, the only thing we can do is, if the property allows for it, you know, we'll kind of set up a mock-up little kitchen, a mock-up little counter. You know, even just to have a little coffee station, you know, during renovation can be a huge, you know, kind of giving you some of that home vibe while you're living through this process, because the entire main floor is under construction. So it's very difficult to live through. It truly is.
So can you share with us one of your favorite transformations, a before and after story that stood out to you?
Sure. One of the projects that I often refer back to is a project in Farmingdale. When you entered the space, the kitchen was right off to the right-hand side, and it was roughly 10 by 15 feet, so a decent size. But this customer went out, and I think they did a 10-foot extension off the back. Okay. So we extended the kitchen about another 15 feet. We did a 60-inch diameter round breakfast nook table with a little bar off to the side with a television and some floating shelves. We rearranged the entire living room, brought it to the other side of the house, put some windows in the back. It's a completely different home, yeah. And being part of that just is great.
I imagine that looks awesome.
Yeah, it turned out gorgeous.
Just hearing how you're describing it.
It turned out gorgeous. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think their island was 10 and a half feet when we were done. Yeah, she had a big family, and they love to entertain, and that's right up my alley.
Okay, so what's next for LMG Kitchens and Baths? Like any new services or project goals that you're excited about?
No, we haven't had any changes. We're continuing to focus on professionals. We target contractors, interior designers, and builders. Again, I love being through that process early on in the stage, so it's always kind of been my calling. So we're continuing to grow that end of the business. The only other thing that kind of lingers is, in the future, we may entertain a second location. We've talked about, maybe going as far east as Selden to try to, better accommodate that Manorville client, people a little bit further east. But the truth is, our office is in Deer Park, and we're very centrally located. So, we're currently in the middle of a project in Quorum. It's a 25-minute ride. It's not terrible. Same thing. I have a ton of clients in Seaford and Merrick and Wantagh. It's not a terrible ride. So we'll see.
All right. That's great. So advice for our homeowners out there. So what's one piece of advice that you give a homeowner before starting any kitchen or bathroom?
Come see me first. And the reason why I say that is, too often I've seen customers go through that extension process and that renovation process and come to me when either plans have been approved or the space has already been erected. And now we go from focusing on your needs and wants to now we have to work within that envelope. And oftentimes, I've told clients in the past, if that window was just 8 inches this way, it would make such a huge difference.
It does.
So really sitting with us first, kind of getting a sense of, what you're looking for, and have us tell your architect where the windows should be, where the door should be. Because again, the kitchen is by far the most important space in a room.
Yeah.
In a
want
home,
that window to be off-center from that sink.
Correct. And I'm big on symmetry. Especially in our focal points, be it at the range or be it at the sink. We should have symmetry. If I have a 30-inch cabinet on one side and a 12-inch on one, I can't sleep at night. So, getting in early in the process avoids that, and it really makes for a much, much cleaner design.
Definitely. All right. So before we wrap up, I got a couple of quick fire rapid questions.
Yes.
Okay. So just tell me the first thing that pops to your head is when I ask you these questions, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So what's your favorite countertop material?
Granite.
Okay. Well, one design trend you think will never go out of style?
White cabinets.
Dream kitchen feature you want in your own home?
Oh, I don't know if we have enough time for that one. I would say, and I've only done this a couple of times because you need a good amount of space for it to be successful, but I love the idea of having seamless cabinetry, and it appearing that it's just your typical, pantry cabinet. But when you open that door, you actually walk through into another space, and that's your full pantry behind the kitchen. So that would probably be my one standout that we're going to try to incorporate that into my next house.
So this is the last question. What's the number one question every homeowner should ask their contractor before starting a remodel?
That's such an important piece of the puzzle. I don't know that I can sum it up to one question. I could tell you that the contractor you choose to do business with is far more important than what color cabinet you buy, what cabinet manufacturer you go with, what countertop material. It truly is the most important piece of that puzzle. So I would say this: I would work with someone that has a good presence in your town, that is well known, that has some exposure, somebody who has a track record of doing this type of work. And I say this because I've seen many contractors put customers in bad positions, and not being able to complete a project after being paid in full. And it breaks my heart. So if it sounds too good to be true, it typically is. And what I mean by that is, I've had customers that will price a project with 3 reputable companies. And one guy may be 90,000, one may be 75, one may be 83. They're all in a general price range. If somebody comes and says they can do it for 40, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust that person because we all pay the same for material. We all have the same operating costs. It's impossible to get things done for that price. So just be very leery is the word. Be leery of a price that's too good to be true.
Yes.
That may be the breaking point of a project.
So that is all the questions I have for you today,
Right.
Guy. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you. This was great. I hope I did okay.
Yes, you did. You did. And so for our listeners out there, do you want to let them know how to get in touch with you?
Yes. My name is Gaetano Minardi. I'm with LMG Kitchen and Bath. Our showroom is located at 1817 Deer Park Avenue in Deer Park, New York. My email is gm@lmgkb.com. And the best place to reach me is on my cell. I guess we can post that maybe
Yep. You
after.
can announce it here.
Or
We'll post it in
best way to reach me is on my cell. It's 631-235-9819.
All right. So, like I said, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
The kitchens and bathrooms are just awesome spaces. They're investments in our lifestyles.
Oh, yeah.
Long-term value in our home's value. So, and you gave us some great insight for today. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Dream is Real podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep building, and always remember, the dream is real.